Good evening, and welcome to Footnotes and Folly. I am Professor Reginald St. John Pemberton, and tonight we open the great sequel to one of Shakespeare's best-loved plays, the second part of King Henry IV. We give you the whole of it, complete and unabridged, in clear modern English. The plain rendering and the asides are my own. This is part 1. The play opens strangely and wonderfully, with a figure called Rumour, his robe painted all over with tongues, who comes before the curtain to confess that he fills the world with false reports, and that he has spread a lie that the rebels won at Shrewsbury, and that Prince Hal fell. But the truth follows hard upon him. Young Hotspur is dead, the rebellion broken, and at his castle of Warkworth the old Earl of Northumberland, Hotspur's father, must swallow that grief. In London, meanwhile, we meet the fat knight Sir John Falstaff, again older now, and Ailing, but as nimble of tongue as ever, sparring with the stern Lord Chief Justice who would have him mind his years. The Archbishop of York gathers a fresh rebellion. The long-suffering hostess has Falstaff arrested for his unpaid bills, and is talked round into lending him still more, and Prince Hal, weary of his own greatness, schemes with Poins to catch the old rogue at his revels. Let us begin.
Warkworth, before the castle. Rumour enters, painted all over with tongues. Open your ears. Which of you will block the passage of hearing when loud Rumour speaks? I travel from the rising east to the sinking west, using the wind as my post-horse, and I constantly spread the deeds begun on this ball of earth. Slanders ride continually on my tongues, and I speak them in every language, filling men's ears with false reports. I speak of peace while hidden hostility, under the smile of safety, wounds the world. And who but Rumour, who but I alone, creates fearful musters and ready defences, while the great year, swollen with some other trouble, is thought to be pregnant with cruel war, when there is no such thing. Rumour is a pipe blown by guesses, suspicions, and conjectures. Its stops are so easy and plain that the dull monster with countless heads, the ever-disagreeing, wavering crowd, can play on it. But why do I need to dissect my well-known body here among my own household? Why is Rumour here? I run ahead of King Harry's victory. On a bloody field at Shrewsbury, he has struck down young Hotspur and his troops, putting out the fire of bold rebellion with the rebels' own blood. But why am I speaking so truly at the start? My job is to spread the news that Harry Monmouth fell under the force of noble Hotspur's sword, and that the king, before the Douglas's fury, bowed his anointed head as low as death. I have carried this rumour through the peasant towns between that royal field of Shrewsbury and this worm-eaten heap of rough stone, where Hotspur's father, old Northumberland, lies cunningly sick. The messengers come on, exhausted, and not one of them brings any news except what he has learned from me. From Rumour's tongues they bring smooth, comforting lies, worse than true injuries. Rumour exits. Lord Bardolph enters and calls at the gate. Who is keeping the gate here? Ho! The porter opens the gate. Where is the Earl? What name shall I give him? Tell the Earl that the Lord Bardolph is here waiting for him. His lordship has walked out into the orchard. If your honour will only knock at the gate, he will answer it himself. Northumberland enters. Here comes the Earl. The porter exits. What news, Lord Bardolph? Every minute now ought to be giving birth to some new plan. These are wild times. Conflict, like a horse overwhelmed and full of strength, has broken loose in madness and tramples down everything before it. Noble Earl, I bring you certain news from Shrewsbury. Good news, God willing. As good as any heart could wish. The king is wounded almost to death, and by the good fortune of my lord your son, Prince Harry has been killed outright. Both the Blunts were killed by the hand of Douglas. Young Prince John, Westmoreland, and Stafford fled the field. And Harry Monmouth's great mass of flesh, the bulky Sir John, is your son's prisoner. Oh, such a day, so bravely fought, so strongly followed up, and so splendidly won, has not come to honour the age since Caesar's victories. How did you get this news? Did you see the battlefield? Did you come from Shrewsbury? My lord, I spoke with a man who came from there, a gentleman of good birth and good reputation, who freely gave me this news as true. Here comes my servant Travers, whom I sent last Tuesday to listen for news. Travers enters. My lord, I overtook him on the road, and he has no certainties to report except whatever he may have heard from me. Now, Travers, what good tidings do you bring? My lord Sir John Umfreville turned me back with joyful news, and because he was better mounted, he outran me. After him came a gentleman spurring hard, almost exhausted by speed, who stopped beside me to let his bloody horse breathe. He asked the way to Chester, and I asked him what news there was from Shrewsbury. He told me that the rebellion had bad luck, and that young Harry Percy's spur was cold. At that he gave his strong horse its head, bent forward, struck his armoured heels into the panting sides of his poor mount right up to the roll, and shot away so fast that he seemed to devour the road as he ran, staying for no more questions. Ha! Say that again. Did he say young Harry Percy's spur was cold? Hotspur cold spur? That the rebellion had met with bad luck? My lord, I will tell you this. If my young lord, your son, has not won the day, then on my honour, I would give my barony for a silk point. Say no more of it. Then why would that gentleman who rode past Travers give such signs of defeat? Who him? He was some worthless fellow who had stolen the horse he rode on, and as I live, spoke at random. Look, here comes more news. Morton enters. Yes, this man's face, like the title page of a book, foretells the nature of a tragic volume. He looks like the shore where a violent flood has left the evidence of its invasion. Tell me, Morton, did you come from Shrewsbury? I ran from Shrewsbury, my noble lord, where hateful death put on his ugliest mask to terrify our party. How are my son and my brother? You tremble, and the whiteness in your cheek is better suited than your tongue to deliver your message. Just such a man, so faint, so spiritless, so dull, so fearful in his look, so overcome with grief, drew Priam's curtain in the dead of night, and would have told him that half his Troy was burned. But Priam discovered the fire before the man's tongue could tell it, and I discover my Percy's death before you report it. This is what you would say: your son did this and this, your brother did this, the noble Douglas fought so, stopping my greedy ear with their brave deeds. But in the end, to stop my ear completely, you have a sigh that will blow away all that praise, ending with brother, son, and all are dead. Douglas is alive, and so is your brother still. But as for my lord your son, why, he is dead. See how ready suspicion's tongue is. A man who only fears the thing he does not want to know learns by instinct from another's eyes that what he feared has happened. Yet speak, Morton. Tell an earl that his guess is false, and I will take it as a sweet disgrace and make you rich for doing me such wrong. You are too great for me to contradict, your instinct is too true, your fear is too certain. Even so, do not say that Percy is dead. I see a strange confession in your eyes. You shake your head and think it fear or sin to speak the truth. If he has been killed, say so. The tongue does no wrong when it reports his death. The man who lies about the dead is the sinner, not the man who says the dead are no longer alive. Yet the first bearer of unwelcome news has a losing office, and afterward his tongue always sounds like a mournful bell, remembered for tolling the death of a departing friend. I cannot believe, my lord, that your son is dead. I am sorry that I must force you to believe what I wish to God I had not seen. But these eyes of mine saw him in a bloody state, weakly repaying blow for blow, worn out and breathless, against Harry Monmouth, whose swift anger struck the never daunted Percy down to the earth, from which he never rose again alive. In short, when his death was rumoured, the death of the man whose spirit lent fire even to the dullest peasant in his camp, it took the fire and heat away from the best. Tempered courage in his troops. His party had been hardened into steel by his own metal. Once that strength was lessened in him, all the rest turned back into dull, heavy lead. And just as a thing that is heavy by nature flies fastest when forced into motion, so our men, made heavy by Hotspur's loss, gave that weight such lightness through their fear that arrows did not fly faster toward their target than our soldiers, aiming only at safety, fled from the field. Then noble Worcester was taken prisoner too soon. And that furious Scot, the bloody Douglas, whose well-worked sword had 3 times killed the appearance of the king, began to lower his courage and added dignity to the shame of those who turned their backs, and in his flight, stumbling in fear, he was captured. The sum of all is this: the king has won, and has sent out a swift force to meet you, my lord, under the command of young Lancaster and Westmoreland. That is the full news. I shall have time enough to mourn for this. There is medicine and poison, and this news, which would have made me sick if I had been well, has, now that I am already sick, made me somewhat well. Like a wretch whose joints, weakened by fever, buckle under the burden of life like powerless hinges, and who, impatient with his fit, bursts like fire out of his keeper's arms, so my limbs, weakened by grief, are now enraged by grief and become 3 times themselves. Away then, delicate crutch! A scaly gauntlet, jointed with steel, must glove this hand now. Away, sickly cap! You are too soft a guard for a head that princes, flushed with conquest, will aim to strike. Now bind my brows with iron, and let the roughest hour that time and malice dare bring come forward to frown upon the enraged Northumberland. Let heaven kiss earth. Let nature's hand no longer keep the wild flood shut in. Let order die. Let this world no longer be a stage that feeds conflict through a lingering act. Let one spirit of the first born king rule in every breast, so that, with every heart fixed on bloody courses, the harsh scene may end, and darkness may bury the dead. This forced passion does you harm, my lord. Sweet earl, do not separate wisdom from your honor. The lives of all your loving allies depend on your health, and if you surrender the health to stormy passion, it must decline. You measured the outcome of war, my noble lord, and added up the account of chance before you said, "Let us raise our forces." You had already supposed that, in the distribution of blows, your son might fall. You knew he walked over dangers on an edge where he was more likely to fall in than to get across. You were warned that his flesh could receive wounds and scars, and that his forward spirit would lift him to wherever danger was most heavily traded. Yet you said, "Go forward," and none of this, though strongly understood, could restrain the stubborn action. So what has happened now, or what has this bold enterprise brought forth, except the very thing that was likely to be? All of us who are involved in this loss knew that we were venturing onto such dangerous seas that the odds were 10 to 1 against coming out alive. Yet we ventured, because the gain we hoped for choked off our respect for the likely danger we feared. And since we are overturned, let us venture again. Come, we will put forth our bodies and our goods. It is more than time. And my most noble lord, I hear for certain, and dare speak the truth, that the gentle Archbishop of York has risen with well-equipped forces. He is a man who binds his followers with a double assurance. My lord your son had only the bodies of men, only shadows and appearances of men, to fight for him, because that word rebellion divided the action of their bodies from their souls. They fought uneasily, under constraint, as men drink bitter medicines, so that only their weapons seemed to be on our side. As for their spirits and souls, that word rebellion had frozen them up like fish in a pond. But now the bishop turns insurrection into religion. Believed to be sincere and holy in his thoughts, he is followed both with body and with mind. He enlarges his uprising with the blood of fair King Richard, scraped from the stones of Pomfret. He derives his quarrel and his cause from heaven. He tells them he stands over a bleeding land, gasping for life under great Bolingbroke, and people of high and low degree flock to follow him. I knew of this before, but to speak the truth, this present grief had wiped it from my mind. Come inside with me, and let every man advise the best way toward safety and revenge. Get messengers and letters ready, and make friends quickly. We were never so few and never in greater need. They exit. Falstaff enters in a London street, with his page carrying his sword and buckler. Boy, you giant, what does the doctor say about my urine sample? He said, sir, that the water itself was good, healthy water. But as for the man who owned it, he might have more diseases than he knew about. People of every kind take pride in mocking me. The brain of this foolishly mixed clay called man cannot invent anything funnier than what I invent, or what is invented about me. I am not only witty myself, I am the reason other men become witty. I walk here before you like a sow that has rolled over and crushed all her litter except one. If the prince put you into my service for any reason other than to make me look bigger by comparison, then I have no judgment. You whoreson mandrake, you are fitter to be worn in my cap than to wait at my heels. I was never attended by a little agates, tone of a man until now. But I will not set you in gold or silver, I will set you in cheap clothes and send you back to your master as a jewel, the youngster, the prince your master, whose chin is not feathered yet. I will sooner grow a beard in the palm of my hand than he will grow one on his cheek. And yet he will not hesitate to say his face is a royal face. God may finish it when he likes, there is not a hair wrong with it yet. He may keep it a face, royal still, because no barber will ever earn sixpence from it. And yet he will crow as if he had been a man ever since his father was a bachelor. He may keep his own grace, but he is nearly out of mine, I can assure him. What did Master Domilton say about the satin for my short cloak and my loose breeches? He said, sir, that you should provide him better security than Bardolph. He would not accept Bardolph's bond and yours. He did not like the guarantee. Let him be damned like the rich glutton. God send that his tongue is hotter. The whoreson a chitiful. A rascally, yes, indeed kind of knave, to keep a gentleman hoping and then demand security. These whoreson smooth-headed tradesmen now wear nothing but high shoes and bunches of keys at their belts, and if a man deals honestly with them by taking goods on credit, then they must demand security. I would as soon have them put rat poison in my mouth as try to stop it with security. I expected him to send me 22 yards of satin, as I am a true knight, and he sends me security. Well, he may sleep secure, for he has the horn of plenty, and his wife's lightness shines through it, yet he cannot see, though he has his own lantern to light him. Where's Bardolph? He has gone into Smithfield to buy your worship a horse. I bought him in Paul's, and he will buy me a horse in Smithfield. If I could only get myself a wife in the stews, I would be fully supplied, manned, horsed, and wived. The Lord Chief Justice enters with a servant. Sir, here comes the nobleman who committed the prince to prison for striking him over the matter of Bardolph. Stand close. I will not see him. Who is that going there? Falstaff, if it please your lordship. The man who was questioned about the robbery. The same, my lord. But since then he has done good service at Shrewsbury, and as I hear, he is now going with some command to the Lord John of Lancaster. What, to York? Call him back again. Sir John Falstaff. Boy, tell him I am deaf. You must speak louder. My master is deaf. I am sure he is when it comes to hearing anything good. Go pull him by the elbow. I must speak with him. Sir John. What? A young knave and begging? Are there not wars? Is there not employment? Does the king not need subjects? Do the rebels not need soldiers? Though it is shameful to be on any side but one, it is more shameful to beg than to be on the worst side, even if it were worse than the name of rebellion knows how to make it. You misunderstand me, sir. Why, sir, did I say you were an honest man? Leaving aside my knighthood and my soldiership, I would have lied in my throat if I had said so. Then I pray you, sir, set aside your knighthood and your soldiership, and allow me to tell you that you lie in your throat if you say I am anything other than an honest man. I allow you to tell me so? I set aside what belongs to me. If you get any permission from me, may I be hanged. If you take permission without it, you would be better hanged. You are following the wrong trail. Away! Begone. Sir, my lord would speak with you. Sir John Falstaff, a word with you. My good lord. God give your lordship a good day. I am glad to see your lordship out of doors. I heard your lordship was ill. I hope your lordship goes out on medical advice. Your lordship, though not entirely past your youth, still has some taste of age in you, some flavour of time's salt, and I most humbly beg your lordship to take reverent care of your health. Sir John, I sent for you before your expedition to Shrewsbury. If it please your lordship, I hear his majesty has returned with some disappointment from Wales. I am not talking about his majesty. You would not come when I sent for you. And I hear, moreover, that his highness has fallen into this same horse and apoplexy. Well, God cure him. I pray you, let me speak with you. This apoplexy, as I understand it, is a kind of lethargy, if it please your lordship, a kind of sleep in the blood, a hoarse and tingling. Why are you telling me about it? Let it be what it is. It comes originally from too much grief from study, and from disturbance of the brain. I have read the cause of its effects in Galen. It is a kind of deafness. I think you have fallen into that disease yourself, because you do not hear what I say to you. Very well, my lord, very well. Rather, if it please you, it is the disease of not listening, the sickness of not paying attention, that troubles me. Punishing you by the heels would improve the attention of your years, and I do not mind becoming your physician. I am as poor as Job, my lord, but not as patient. Your lordship may give me the potion of imprisonment because of my poverty, but whether I should be your patient and follow your prescriptions, wise men might make some small doubt of it, or indeed a whole doubt. I sent for you, when there were matters against you that touched your life, so you could come speak with me. As I was then advised by my learned counsel in the laws of this military service, I did not come. Well, the truth is, Sir John, you live in great disgrace. Anyone who buckles himself into my belt cannot live in less. Your resources are very thin, and your spending is great. I wish it were otherwise. I wish my resources were greater and my waist were thinner. You have misled the youthful prince. The young prince has misled me. I am the fellow with the big belly, and he is my dog. Well, I am reluctant to irritate a newly healed wound. Your service by day at Shrewsbury has somewhat gilded over your exploit by night on Gad's Hill. You may thank these unsettled times that you have quietly slipped past that matter. My lord. But since all is well, keep it so. Do not wake a sleeping wolf. Waking a wolf is as bad as smelling a fox. What? You are like a candle with the better part burned out. A drinking feast candle, my lord, all tallow. If I said I was made of wax, my growth would prove it true. There is not a white hair in your face that should not have the effect of seriousness. The effect of gravy, gravy, gravy. You follow the young prince up and down like his evil angel. So, my lord, your evil spirit is light, but I hope anyone who looks at me will accept me without weighing me. And yet, in some ways, I admit I cannot go. I do not know. Virtue is so little valued in these peddlers' times that true courage has been made a bear keeper. Sharp intelligence has been made a tavern servant, wasting its quick wit and adding up bills. All the other gifts that belong to a man, as the malice of this age treats them, are not worth a gooseberry. You who are old do not consider what we young men are capable of. You measure the heat of our blood by the bitterness of your own bile, and we who are in the front rank of our youth, I must confess, are pranksters too. Do you put your name on the roll of youth when you are written down as old with every mark of age? Do you not have a watery eye, a dry hand, a yellow cheek, a white beard, a shrinking leg, and a growing belly? Is your voice not cracked, your breath short, your chin double, your wit thin, and every part of you blasted with age? And will you still call yourself young? Shame, 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 Sir John. My lord, I was born at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with a white head and something of a round belly. As for my voice, I lost it by shouting and singing hymns. I will not try any further to prove my youth. The truth is, I am old only in judgment and understanding, and anyone who wants to leap about with me for 1,000 marks, let him lend me the money, and I will take him on. As for the slap on the ear that the prince gave you, he gave it like a rude prince, and you received it like a sensible lord. I have rebuked him for it, and the young lion is sorry. Not in ashes and sackcloth, mind you, but in new silk and old sack wine. Well, God send the prince a better companion. God send the companion a better prince. I cannot get him off my hands. Well, the king has separated you and Prince Harry. I hear you are going with Lord John of Lancaster against the Archbishop and the Earl of Northumberland. Yes, and I thank your pretty sweet wit for it. But take care, I pray you, all of you who stay at home kissing my lady peace, that our armies do not meet on a hot day, for by the Lord, I am taking only 2 shirts with me, and I do not mean to sweat more than ordinary. If it is a hot day, and I wave anything around except a bottle, may I never spit white again. There is not a dangerous action that can so much as poke out its head without my being pushed into it. Well, I cannot last forever. But it has always been the habit of our English nation, if they have a good thing, to make it too common. If you must call me an old man, you ought to let me rest. I wish to God my name were not so terrifying to the enemy as it is. I would be better off being eaten to death by rust than rubbed down to nothing by constant motion. Well, be honest, and God bless your expedition. Will your lordship lend me £1,000 to equip me for it? Not a penny, not a penny. You are too impatient to bear crosses. Farewell. Give my greetings to my cousin Westmoreland, the Chief Justice, and his servant Leave. If I do, flick me with a 3-man beetle. A man can no more separate age from greed than he can separate young limbs from lust, but gout torments the one, and the pox pinches the other, and so both conditions forestall my curses. Boy. Sir? How much money is in my purse? 7 groats and 2 pence. I can find no cure for this wasting disease of the purse. Borrowing only draws it out and draws it out, but the sickness is incurable. Take this letter to my Lord of Lancaster, this one to the Prince, this one to the Earl of Westmoreland, and this one to old Mistress Ursula, whom I have sworn every week to marry since I noticed the first white hair on my chin. Go to it. You know where to find me. Page leaves. A pox on this gout, or a gout on this pox. For one or the other is playing the villain with my great toe. It does not matter if I limp. I have the wars as my excuse, and my pension will seem all the more reasonable. A good wit will make use of anything. I will turn diseases into profit. He leaves. The Archbishop enters with Lords Hastings, Mowbray, and Bardolph. Now you have heard our cause and know what forces we have. My noble friends, I ask you all to speak plainly about what hope we have. First, Lord Marshal, what do you say? I fully approve the reason for taking up arms. But I would gladly be better satisfied about how, with the means we have, we can raise ourselves high enough to face the power and strength of the king with a bold forehead. Our present rolls are growing to 25,000 chosen men, and our reinforcements rest strongly on the hope of great Northumberland, whose heart burns with an angry fire over the injuries done to him. Then the question, Lord Hastings, is this: can our present 25,000 men stand firm without Northumberland? With him we can. Yes, indeed, that is exactly the point. But if we are judged too weak without him, my opinion is that we should not go too far until we have his help firmly in hand. In a matter as bloody as this, guesses, expectations, and assumptions about uncertain aid should not be allowed. That is very true, Lord Bardolph. Indeed, that was young Hotspur's situation at Shrewsbury. It was, my lord. He strengthened himself with hope, feeding on empty air because help had been promised, flattering himself with the idea of a force that was far smaller than even the smallest part of what he imagined. So, with the great fantasy that belongs to madmen, he led his forces to death, and with his eyes shut, leaped into destruction. But if you please, it has never yet done harm to set out probabilities and shape our hopes. Yes, it has, if the present condition of this war, this immediate action now underway, lives only on hope. It is like early spring, when we see the buds appear. Hope gives us no more certainty that they will become fruit than fear gives us certainty that frost will bite them. When we mean to build, we first survey the ground, then draw the plan. When we see the shape of the house, we estimate the cost of raising it. If we find the cost is more than we can afford, what do we do but draw a new plan with fewer rooms, or at least give up building altogether? Much more, in this great work, which is almost to pull down one kingdom and set up another, we ought to survey the ground and the design, agree on a sure foundation, question the surveyors, know our own resources, and understand how able we are to undertake such a work and weigh ourselves against the enemy. Otherwise, we fortify ourselves only on paper and in numbers, using the names of men instead of men themselves. We are like a man who draws the plan of a house beyond his power to build it, and then, halfway through, gives up and leaves what he has partly made, at great expense, bare to the weeping clouds and ruined by cruel winter. Grant that our hopes, though they seem likely to be borne well, should turn out stillborn. Grant that we have already reached the full number of men we can expect. Even so, I think we are strong enough as we are to match the king. What? Does the king have only 25,000 men? Against us, no more. In fact, not even that many, Lord Bardolph. Because the quarrels of these times divide his forces into 3 parts. One force against the French, one against Glendower, and of necessity, a third must deal with us. So the unsettled king is divided into 3, and his coffers ring with hollow poverty and emptiness. Then we need not fear that he will gather all his different strengths together and come against us with his full power. If he did that, he would leave his back unguarded, with the French and Welsh barking at his heels. Never fear that. Who is likely to lead his forces here? The Duke of Lancaster and Westmoreland. Against the Welsh, the king himself and Harry Monmouth. But who has been appointed against the French, I do not know for certain. Let us go forward and publish the cause for which we take up arms. The Commonwealth is sick from its own choice. Its greedy love has stuffed itself too full. Anyone who builds on the heart of the common people lives in a dizzy, unsafe house. Oh, you foolish crowd, with what loud applause you struck heaven by blessing Bolingbroke before he became what you wanted him to be. And now that he is dressed in the very form of your desires, you brutish feeder, you are so full of him that you make yourself vomit him up. Just so, you common dog, you threw the royal Richard out of your gluttonous stomach, and now you would eat up your dead vomit again and howl because you cannot find it. What trust can there be in these times? Those who, while Richard lived, wished him dead are now in love with his grave. You who threw dust on his noble head when he came sighing through proud London, following behind the admired steps of Bolingbroke, now cry, O earth, give us that king again, and take this one. O cursed thoughts of men! What is past and what is to come always seem best, what is present seems worst. Shall we go gather our numbers and begin? We are subjects of time, and time commands us to go. They exit. In a London street, hostess enters with 2 officers, Fang and Snare, following her. Master Fang, have you filed the complaint? It is filed. Where is your assistant? Is he a sturdy fellow? Will he hold firm when it comes to it? You there, where is Snare? Oh Lord, yes. Good Master Snare. Here, here. Snare, we have to arrest Sir John Falstaff. Yes, good Master Snare, I have filed against him and everything. It may cost some of us our lives, because he will stab. Alas, be careful of him. He stabbed me in my own house, and most brutally, truly. He does not care what harm he does. If his weapon is out, he will lunge like any devil. He will spare neither man, woman, nor child. If I can get close to him, I do not care about his thrust. No, nor do I. I will be right at your elbow. If I can only get my hands on him once, if he comes within my grip. I am ruined by his leaving, I promise you. He is an endless thing on my account. Good Master Fang, hold him tight. Good Master Snare, do not let him escape. He is always coming to Pie Corner, saving your manhoods, to buy a saddle, and he is invited to dinner at the Lubber's Head in Lombard Street at Master Smooth's the Silkman. I beg you, since my action is filed and my case is so openly known to the world, let him be brought in to answer it. 100 marks is a heavy sum for a poor lone woman to bear, and I have borne it, and borne it, and borne it, and I have been put off, and put off, and put off from this day to that day, until it is a shame even to think of it. There is no honesty in such dealing, unless a woman is to be made an ass and a beast, to carry every scoundrel's wrong. There he comes, and that outright red-nosed rascal Bardolph with him. Do your duties, Master Fang and Master Snare. Do me your duties. Falstaff, Bardolph, and Page enter. What's this now? Whose mare is dead? What is the matter? Sir John, I arrest you at the suit of Mistress quickly. Away, you rogues. Draw, Bardolph. Cut off the villain's head for me. Throw the whore into the gutter. Throw me into the gutter? I will throw you into the gutter. Will you, you bastardly rogue? Murder, murder. Ah, you sweet, talking villain, will you kill God's officers and the king's? Ah, you sweet, seed rogue, you are a hemseed, a killer of men and a killer of women. Keep them off, Bardolph. A rescue. A rescue. Good people bring a rescuer too. You will you? You will you? Go on, you rogue. Go on, you hempseed. Away, you kitchen drudge. You low rascal. You filthy beggar. I will give your ending a tickle. The Lord Chief Justice enters with his men. What is the matter? Keep the peace here, ho. Good my lord, be good to me. I beg you, stand by me. What is this, Sir John? Are you brawling here? Does this suit your rank, your age, and your business? You should already be well on your way to York. Stand away from him, fellow. Why are you hanging on him? Oh, my most honourable lord, if it please your grace, I am a poor widow of East Cheap, and he is arrested at my suit. For what amount? It is more than for some, my lord, it is for all I have. He has eaten me out of house and home. He has put all my substance into that fat belly of his. But I will have some of it out again, or I will ride you at night like the mare. I think I am just as likely to ride the mare myself, if I can find any advantage of ground to climb up from. How has this happened, Sir John? Shame. What man with any self-control would endure this storm of outcry? Are you not ashamed to force a poor widow into such a rough course in order to recover what is her own? What is the total sum I owe you? By Mary, if you were an honest man, I would have yourself as well as the money. You swore to me on a partly gilded goblet, sitting in my dolphin chamber at the round table by a sea-coal fire, on Wednesday in Weeson week, when the prince broke your head for comparing his father to a sinning man of Windsor. You swore to me then, while I was washing your wound, that you would marry me and make me my lady, your wife. Can you deny it? Did not Goodwife Keech, the butcher's wife, come in then, and call me gossip quickly, coming in to borrow a bowl of vinegar, and tell us she had a good dish of prawns, which made you want to eat some, and made me tell you they were bad for a fresh wound? And did you not, when she had gone downstairs, ask me not to be so familiar with such poor people any more, saying that before long they would call me madam? And did you not kiss me and tell me to fetch you 30 shillings? I put you now to your oath by the book. Deny it if you can. My lord, this is a poor mad soul, and she says all over town that her eldest son looks like you. She was once in good condition, and the truth is poverty has distracted her. But as for these foolish officers, I beg you to give me redress against them. Sir John, I know very well your habit of twisting the true cause into the false direction. Neither a bold face nor the flood of words that come from you with such more than impudent insolence can push me away from a level judgment. It seems to me that you have taken advantage of this woman's easy-yielding nature, and made her serve your uses both with her purse and with her person. Yes, in truth, my lord. Please be quiet. Pay her the debt you owe her, and undo the villainy you have done with her. The first you may do with sterling money, and the other with honest repentance. My lord, I will not endure this rebuke without an answer. You call honourable boldness impudent insolence. If a man bows and says nothing, he is called virtuous. No, my lord, with my humble duty remembered, I will not be your petitioner. I say to you that I ask to be released from these officers, since I am on urgent employment in the king's affairs. You speak as if you had power to do wrong, but answer according to the effect on your reputation, and satisfy the poor woman. Come here, hostess. Gower enters. Now, Master Gower, what news? The king, my lord, and Harry, Prince of Wales, are close at hand. The rest is told in this paper. As I am a gentleman. Faith, you said so before. As I am a gentleman. Come, no more words about it. By this heavenly ground I walk on, I will have to pawn both my plate and the tapestry from my dining rooms. Glasses are the only proper things for drinking. And as for your walls, a pretty little comic picture, or the story of the prodigal, or a German hunting scene in waterwork, is worth 1,000 of those bed-hangings and fly-bitten tapestries. Let it be £10 if you can. Come, if it were not for your moods, there is not a better wench in England. Go, wash your face, and withdraw the lawsuit. Come, you must not be in this mood with me. Do you not know me? Come, I know you were put up to this. Please, Sir John, let it be only 20 nobles. In faith, I am sorry to pawn my plate, so God save me, la. Leave it alone, I will find some other way. You will always be a fool. Well, you shall have it, even if I pawn my gown. I hope you will come to supper. You will pay me everything together. Will I live? Go with her, Bardolph, go with her. Hook on. Shall I have doll tear? She'd meet you at supper? No more words, let us have her. Hostess thanks there, Bardolph, and page exit. I have heard better news. What is the news, my lord? Where did the king lodge tonight? At Basingstoke, my lord. I hope, my lord, all is well. What is the news, my lord? Have all his forces come back? No. 1,500 foot soldiers and 500 horsemen have marched up to my lord of Lancaster, against Northumberland and the Archbishop. Is the king coming back from Wales, my noble lord? You shall have letters from me shortly. Come, go along with me, good Master Gower. My lord. What is the matter? Master Gower, may I invite you to dine with me? I must attend my good lord here. I thank you, good Sir John. Sir John, you linger here too long, since you are supposed to raise soldiers in the counties as you go. Will you sup with me, Master Gower? What foolish master taught you these manners, Sir John? Master Gower, if they do not suit me, then he was a fool who taught them to me. This is the proper fencing courtesy, my lord, hit for hit, and so part fairly. Now may the Lord lighten you, you are a great fool. They exit. Prince Henry and Poins enter on a London street. Before God, I am extremely tired. Has it come to that? I thought tiredness would never dare lay hold of someone of such noble blood. By faith it does, though admitting it stains the complexion of my greatness. Does it not look low and disgraceful in me to want small beer? Why, a prince should not have studied such low things so loosely that he remembers so weak a drink. Then I suppose my appetite was not born princely, because, truly, I do now remember that poor creature, small beer. But these humble thoughts do make me fall out of love with my greatness. What a disgrace it is for me to remember your name, or to know your face tomorrow, or to notice how many pairs of silk stockings you own, namely these, and the peach-colored ones you used to have, or to keep an inventory of your shirts, one extra and one for use. The keeper of the tennis court knows that better than I do, because your linen is at a very low ebb when you do not pawn it there for rackets, as you have not done for a long while, because the rest of your lower garments have managed to eat up your fine holland cloth. And God knows whether the little voices crying out from the ruins of your linen will inherit his kingdom. But the midwives say the children are not to blame, and so the world increases and families grow wonderfully strong. How badly this follows. After working so hard, you talk so idly. Tell me, how many good young princes would behave like this when their fathers are as sick as yours is now? Shall I tell you one thing, Poins? Yes, by faith, and let it be an excellent good thing. It will do well enough among wits bred no higher than yours. Come on, I am ready to take the thrust of this one thing you will tell me. Then I tell you it is not fitting for me to look sad now that my father is sick. Yet I could tell you, as someone whom, for lack of a better man, it pleases me to call my friend, that I could be sad, and very truly sad. Hardly on such a subject. By this hand, you think I am as deeply written in the devil's book as you in Falstaff, for stubbornness and persistence and wickedness. Let the end prove the man. But I tell you my heart bleeds inwardly because my father is so sick, and keeping such vile company as you has reasonably enough taken from me every outward show of grief. What reason? What would you think of me if I wept? I would think you a most princely hypocrite. That would be everyone's thought, and you are blessed in thinking exactly as everyone thinks. No man's thought in the world keeps more faithfully to the common road than yours. Everyone would indeed think me a hypocrite. And what prompts your most worshipful mind to think so? Why, because you have been so wild and so deeply grafted onto Falstaff, and onto you. By this light I am well spoken of. I can hear it with my own ears. The worst they can say of me is that I am a second brother, and that I am a good-looking fellow who can use his hands. And those two things, I confess, I cannot help. By the mass, here comes Bardolph. Bardolph enters with the page. And the boy I gave Falstaff. He had him for me as a Christian, and look whether the fat villain has not transformed him into an ape. God save your grace. And yours, most noble Bardolph. Come, you virtuous ass, you bashful fool, must you be blushing? Why are you blushing now? What a maidenly soldier you have become. Is it such a great matter to take the maidenhead of a 2-quart ale pot? He called me just now, my lord, through a red lattice window, and I could make out no part of his face from the window. At last I spotted his eyes, and it seemed to me he had made 2 holes in the wife's new petticoat and was peeping through them. Has the boy not improved? Away, you horse and upright rabbit, away! Away, you rascally Althea's dream, away! Teach us, boy. What dream, boy? Why, my lord, Althea dreamed she gave birth to a firebrand, therefore I call him her dream. That interpretation is worth a crown. There it is, boy. Oh, if only this blossom could be kept from decay. Well, here is 6pence to preserve you. If you do not get him hanged among you, the gallows will be cheated. And how is your master, Bardolph? Well, my lord, he heard your grace had come to town. Here is a letter for you, delivered with proper respect. And how is your Martinmas, old fellow, your master? In bodily health, sir. Indeed, the immortal part needs a physician, but that does not trouble him. Though that part is sick, it does not die. I allow this swelling growth of a man to be as familiar with me as my dog, and he takes his place accordingly. Look how he writes. John Falstaff, Knight. Everyone must know that whenever he has occasion to name himself, just like those who are kin to the king, they never prick a finger without saying, "There is some of the king's blood spilled." How is that? Says the man who pretends not to understand. The answer is as ready as a borrower's cap. I am the king's poor cousin, sir. No, they will be kin to us, or they will trace it all the way back to Japhet. But to the letter, Sir John Falstaff, Knight, to the son of the king, nearest his father, Harry, Prince of Wales, greeting. Why, this is a certificate. Peace. I will imitate the honourable Romans in brevity. Surely he means brevity of breath, being short-winded. I commend myself to you, I commend you, and I leave you. Do not be too familiar with Poins, for he abuses your favours so much that he swears you are to marry his sister Nell. Repent in idle moments when you can, and so farewell. Yours by yes and no, which is as much as to say according to how you use him. Jack Falstaff with my close companions, John with my brothers and sisters, and Sir John with all Europe. My lord, I will soak this letter in sack and make him eat it. That would make him eat 20 of his words. Did you use me like this, Ned? Must I marry your sister? God send the girl no worse fortune. But I never said so. Well, this is how we play the fools with time, while the spirits of the wise sit in the clouds and mock us. Is your master here in London? Yes, my lord. Where is he having supper? Does the old boar feed in the old sty? At the old place, my lord, in Eastcheap. What company? Ephesians, my lord, of the old church. Are any women supping with him? None, my lord, except old Mistress Quickly and Mistress Doll Tear, Sheet. What kind of pagan might that be? A fine gentlewoman, sir, and a kinswoman of my master's. The same kind of kin as the parish heifers are to the town bull. Shall we sneak in on them at supper, Ned? I am your shadow, my lord. I will follow you. You there, boy, and Bardolph, not a word to your master that I have come to town yet. There is money for your silence. I have no tongue, sir. And as for mine, sir, I will govern it. Farewell. Go. Bardolph and the page leave. This Doll Tear, she must be some highway. I warned you, as common as the road between St. Albans and London. How might we best watch Falstaff show himself tonight in his true colours, without being seen ourselves? Put on 2 leather jerkins and aprons, and serve him at his table as drawers. From a god to a bull? A heavy descent. That was Jove's case. From a prince to an apprentice? A low transformation, and that shall be mine, for in everything the purpose must outweigh the foolishness. Follow me, Ned. They leave.
And there we pause, with 2 kingdoms in miniature laid before us, the realm of state, where a sick king and a fresh rebellion grind toward another reckoning, and the realm of the tavern, where fat Falstaff, arrested and unabashed, borrows from the very woman he owes, and waits for the day his sweet boy Hal will be king and all England his to plunder. The Archbishop and his lords are arming in the north. The prince, tired and thoughtful, prepares one last jest at his old companion's expense. The mood is autumn now, not the bright noon of the first play sickness, death and age are in the air. Next time, in part 2, the famous night at the Boar's Head with Doll Tear Sheet, the sleepless king and his uneasy crown, and old Justice Shallow's Gloucestershire orchard. Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly.